We're talking about the podcast. The podcast. Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies. I'm Carter.
I'm Doge.
And this one is Jordan.
It's still a Mini Monday. Mini Mondays are like, no matter where you put them, it's still Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a Mini Monday. And I thought for today, since it is our last Mini Monday ever, that we would do some finale themes. There's been a lot of finales out in the world recently. Just bam, bam, bam. And this kind of happens, right? Spring and fall, really a lot of the times the end of spring going into summer will have season finales. But there was something about this season of show finales, forgive me, show finales that felt bigger than
Series
most.
finales.
Because there were so many big ones. And we're not going to, this would be the worst 30 minutes of your day if we just spoiled Succession, Ted Lasso, Survivor, like all these things. But it was just pretty bizarre to me. And so I have a list
Notably
for us too.
not a series finale for Survivor, though. Do you want to say?
It's technically not a finale for Survivor. And also it's not the last Mini Monday ever. I just thought that would, transitions
And also,
are tough.
we are going to spoil Ted Lasso really quick. It was cool. I just want to say it was cool that he did lobby the king of soccer to change the rules and he could now pick it up with his hands.
Yes.
And there's no more offsides. And they have to wear pads and hit each other hard.
I was wondering if they were
that made the
back.
most sense. That made the most sense.
Set it up in episode
I
1
have
and
not
finally brought
seen-
it full circle.
Yes. We just watched last night, Chelsea and I watched the finale to Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, yeah.
And personally for me, it was one of the greatest show finales I've ever seen.
Really loved it.
I think I have an extremely controversial opinion because I think this last season of Miss Maisel was like a 2 out of 10 for me.
Wow. That's
I wouldn't say
pretty
2 out of 10. I do think this was the weakest
Huge
season.
swing and a miss.
I think this was overall the weakest season of the show, but I thought the finale brought it back around pretty well and ended nice. But overall, I think this season, all the writer's room stuff worked well for me. Mm-hmm. All of the time jump stuff did not.
Not at all.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was not gimmicky. I think sometimes time hops can be really strange, but saw that one, enjoyed it.
Yeah. I really liked the finale.
Saw finale of Ted Lasso. That was good. That's to me, almost about the best you could do. Agreed. That's a really tough show, especially when they're shorter in it being just 3 seasons. And, touch open-ended for some storylines. Enjoy that. Did not see the finale for Succession yet.
I haven't yet either.
A couple seasons behind.
Oh, we're only 2 episodes into Succession, so I probably am going to just watch all the other ones and then the finale.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to go ahead and jump to the most recent.
I'm 2 episodes
I heard good
away
things,
from the finale of Succession. We've just been really busy and prioritized some other things, but we're going to finish it up this week. I'm excited.
Yeah, love it. And then season finale of this season of Survivor.
Woo doggy. Great season.
Did watch that.
Loved.
Great season.
Very, very good. But before we get into it, we're going to play a little bit of Rank You Very Much, talking about finales through history.
Cool.
But before we do that, there is a bit of news out there. We always love following that box office monies. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which we'll be reviewing tomorrow, after its first weekend, had $120 million domestically, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
It is behind only the Super Mario Brothers movie, which had $140 million.
Wowzers.
In its first weekend. And the pull so there's a lot of TikTok videos circulating in terms of kids loving the Peaches song and singing the Peaches song. Like Super Mario Brothers movie is probably the number one given money printer for the next decade. Any of these. It's unbelievable. Did you see the one of the kid who was in full Bowser costume at his talent show? No. And there's like another 150 kids and it's literally like it's a Journey like concert or something. All the kids are just singing Peaches with him at the piano.
That's amazing.
It's really, really cool.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It's really, really cool. A lot of money there. Also,
no kidding.
This is a bit of a spoiler, but if you're following any movie news, you've heard that the beef has been squashed. It's official. Turns out it was squashed about a year ago. That Vin and Dwayne. It's weird when you say it like that.
Yeah, they sound like dads when you say it like that.
Yeah, for sure. Have squashed the beef.
Rock and the Dees.
There still seems to be a touch of beef, though. I don't even know if these two guys are going to share the same fast screen.
I think it's a PR squash.
I have some fast news that I would like to share.
Talk to me, dude.
There's two things related to this beef. The first is that I've seen some conflicting reports. Dwayne Johnson is reportedly in Fast X2 or Fast 11 or Fast 10-2. But I've also seen reports that he has signed on for not necessarily that movie, but another Hobbs and Shaw spinoff.
Well, it's not even that. I guess a spinoff. It's not and Shaw. It's just him.
Just Hobbs.
Yeah.
So does it mean he's in Fast 10-2 or not?
No idea.
People can be two things, Doge.
The other thing I've read is there are now reports that Vin Diesel is very angry at Jason Momoa for his scene-stealing performance in Fast X because more people are talking about Momoa than about Vin after watching Fast X.
I would not be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah.
But that sounds like something that somebody made up because of his beef with The Rock.
I don't know. He seems like a snapping turtle.
Yes.
If we're talking what kind of turtle, probably snapping turtle. A spiteful little snapping turtle.
Spiteful little snapping turtle.
Spiteful.
Himself. Goodness me. When I was looking through, reading several lists of best and worst series finales of all time.
Sure.
And what I've done this time, because there were so many opinions out there, I collected 5 and 5.
Got it.
Of what kept recurring. Now, to get points here on this Rank You Very Much, you have to guess one of the ones that I've written down. I will tell you if this, because I read several of these, if the series finale that you mentioned was on any of these lists.
How new,
Certainly.
how fresh is this list?
2022.
Okay.
Yeah. Up to 2022
late
for most
2022?
Why? What are you talking about?
I'm wondering if Better Call Saul even has a chance of being there.
Yeah, for sure. That's been on there.
Got it.
It doesn't. It's not on this like specific Rank You Very Much, but Better Call Saul was, and Succession was, because kind of the reason that people are doing this are there's a lot of these fresh lists because of how many series finales we've had very recently. So I've got 5 worst, 5 best, and Rank You Very Much. It's pretty simple. It's kind of a scatter shot. These guys go back and forth and try and guess. They get 3 strikes, and then once they're done with that, they're done. You know, if you get 3 strikes, you're out. The other person can keep guessing until they have 3 strikes. There is a possibility, I think, for you guys that you could get maybe all of these. I think you'll get at least 7 of the 10, but there's 5 of the worst and 5 of the best. Now, I will need you to designate when you're guessing if it's on the 5 worst list or 5 best. Because there were some polarizing ones out there, and we can talk about that a bit if you want, but it's all over the place. Who wants to go first on Rank You Very Much?
I'll go.
Oh, well, there you go. I love that.
Let's put Game of Thrones down on the worst side.
Correct. Consistently showing up.
Okay.
And a lot of, it was fun. There was a handful of articles. I think it was USA Today that they had someone in each corner that liked it and didn't like it.
Got it.
And the person arguing for had really not much to say. It was intentionally pretty funny, but it was so bad to people because of how epic the rest of the show was.
Sure.
Yeah.
To just fizzle out like that and have that many eyes on it is pretty tough.
Yeah.
But yes, it did show up on the worst.
Okay. I'm going to go with How I Met Your Mother, worst.
Yep. Showed up there too. And that one ends up being a little bit more polarizing. There were some people that really liked that. And then a lot of people that just really didn't.
One of the worst to ever do it.
But
for sure.
That's right. Y'all both are strikeless without strike.
Let's say Lost on
has
worst.
Y'all are killing it. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lost was so messy at the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of writer's strike, wasn't it finishing up around the last writer's strike? Yes or no? That might have been the case.
It can't take that as part of the blame, though. That's all.
Certainly.
JJ.
You know what I will say, though? I will say that the show Heroes, is a direct casualty of the 2007 WGA strike.
Really?
Because that first season absolutely rips, and then the rest of the show's a disaster.
Yeah, fair enough.
You've got 3 of the 5. Nobody's missing yet. We know what's
this might
the
be
worst.
a miss. I'm going to take a swing. For the best list, Scrubs has to be.
No.
No Scrubs. Weird. One of the best finales of all time. Maybe the best sitcom finale of all time.
Okay. It shows up on the worst. It's actually one of the 5 worst.
Yeah, because what you're considering the finale is not actually the series finale, because the series finale would be the med school season.
Yeah, it's technically a new show, though.
I think they're probably still counting that as a series.
They talk about something that was like 3 different versions. They keep saying like a 3. There was like the finale gave 3 different timelines or something. In Scrubs. You might have to look that up. This is going to hurt you. I put it there.
No, that's fine.
I know you love that show. I did put it there just because you love it. It's like, it showed up on the worst.
One of the best finales ever.
There you go. Love that, dude.
Breaking Bad on the best.
Yeah.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jordan with 1 strike.
Yeah, well, so depending on how fresh this list is, I would say Peaky Blinders finale is one of the best finales I've ever seen of any show. I feel like it's probably not there, but I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say Peaky Blinders.
Nope. Not there. It did show up also on the worst.
On the worst?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, dude, maybe you need to look into a different podcast, my guy.
Apparently, that Peaky Blinders finale was one of the best episodes of TV.
Is this alternate dimension? Jordan, do you host 2 hunks in a chunk in your reality? Is this alternate dimension, Jordan?
No, I think this is just a case of these lists driving me crazy again, which tends to happen with Ranky very much.
Do we have?
I'd love to hear the reasoning behind Peaky Blinders being on the worst list. I would love to hear that reasoning.
Come at me, bro. That's what you're saying to these articles.
Yes, 100%.
Come talk to me.
Do we have The Good Place?
Not on
best.
Not on the one that was like reoccurring that I created, but it did show up on best. So, but that will be a strike for you. So you have 1, and Jordan with 2.
Okay.
Well, I'm probably going to lose it here.
Just think of a bad one. Think of a stinker.
There's only 1 stinker left.
Yeah, I'm not going for stinkers if there's only 1 left.
And it was one that I disagree with, personally.
Oh, then I know what it is.
I feel like you do. I feel like that wasn't a bit. That's interesting.
I feel like I do know what it is.
I'm flattered.
Sons of Anarchy is one of the best shows with one of the worst finales, but Carter would have no opinion about that. So,
I watched some of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, some.
Oh, you're saying. Okay.
I'm saying you wouldn't have an opinion about the finale. Best finales. Oh, wait. I bet I do know what the worst finale is. I'm going to go for it. Seinfeld.
Bing, bing. Correct.
Yep.
People hated.
I've almost said that so many times.
That all of the crap that those 4 did came back to bite them and they went to jail. I loved that.
Yeah, sure.
I loved that. Because like a show that's just all about observational humor was like, hey, big picture, none of these people should just be walking the streets with all the awful things they've done. And then they just get arrested. And I loved it.
The Peaky Blinders finale has a 9.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Hey, I'm sorry. You know what I should have done?
That's insane.
Yeah. Dexter showed up a lot too.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my guesses.
That was pretty bad. Yeah, that was very bad. Jordan stays in the game. Doge with 1 strike or 2? 1?
1 strike. But we've got the crappies knocked out, so we got to find the good ones.
We still have 4 goodies.
4 good ones left. The only one we've said is Breaking Bad. I mean, it's gonna be like The Sopranos.
You're right.
Best.
Yes. Yeah, because it was cliffhangery. It was kind of like the end of Inception. Because Tony Soprano, we don't know if he lives or dies, and they just left it at that.
Tony Soprano actually dies in Endgame when he puts on the glove and snaps.
Yes, that's true. But people were talking, man. It was a huge, huge deal.
If this is going to be what the list is like, then I have 2 guesses. I'm just going to go with one. It's probably wrong. I'm going to go with The Wire.
Yeah.
This showed up on a lot of lists. It didn't make this one, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's good, though. The Wire finale.
That would have been my next guess.
Very much so. Doge, keep rolling, man. You got 1 strike.
Oh man,
Can you get them
I'm
off?
still honestly kind of my footing is so uneven after Scrubs and Peaky Blinders popped up on the worst lists.
Sorry for that.
Neither of you have watched either of those shows all the way through, but
Right. Got no opinion.
They both have really like genuinely excellent finales.
Yeah.
That's super
I had heard
weird.
good things about Peaky's finale. Yeah.
It's really good. Like very good.
I have one strike and lots of podcasts left. So let's say Cheers.
It showed up, but it's not on this list.
Okay.
Cheers had a great finale.
Probably not as good as Scrubs though.
Probably not, and in the end, it's probably not as Scrubs. You got one more strike, dude.
How about Schitt's Creek on a good side?
Oh, that was a good finale too, but not on the list.
It's probably on the worst list based on other options.
The Office showed up on good finales for a lot
No,
of people.
absolutely not.
Good
Mad
finale.
Men.
I'll hear the argument of good finales. I will not hear the argument of best finales for The Office.
No way.
Mad Men showed up on a lot of
Yeah,
lists.
Who cares? Really?
And then Friday Night Lights.
Oh,
was
Friday
on
Night Lights.
Everybody's list.
Friday Night Lights does have an incredible finale. But see, here's the thing that's tough with The Office and Friday Night Lights. Part of why I think their finales stand out is because they were at the end of probably the worst seasons of their individual shows. That's what's weird,
So it
right?
was
'Cause
measured against.
I think so, because I would give The Office finale probably like on a scale of 1 to 10. It's probably a 9. It's a good finale. Yeah. It really is. But it's coming off of like the only 6 out of 10 season of the whole show. And
So kind of like the Maisel vibes I have right now.
Yeah,
is what you're thinking.
for sure. And I really like the end of The Office. Like I like the last season, but it's the worst season of the show for sure.
Yeah. Easily.
And same with Friday Night Lights. I think after season 3, the show kind of stumbles around in the dark and then finds its footing for like the last half of the final season. Yeah. And it's still, I love Friday Night Lights, and that finale is spectacular. But I think it's
show.
For me, it's hard, right, to like give best finale to a show that just like
You almost have to judge it on the final season, like
A
or
little
closing arc. I feel like,
A little
especially something that's super serialized. Like I feel like Seinfeld's probably the outlier where it's not like, I think they could do, if it's a 22 episode season, they could do 21 real stinker episodes and then do a great last episode and be like, yeah, it was a great finale to Seinfeld. But something that's way more serialized, that's carrying a through line story. Like even if the last episode of Game of Thrones had been awesome, we'd still put it on the worst finale list just because that last season was absolute
See, I don't know that it goes to worst. I think these are both overreactions, right? I think to say that The Office having a very good finale, especially compared to its final season, puts it in the best list is wrong. But I also think that saying that that would put it in the worst list is wrong too. I just think that it was a great show with an incredibly good finale that didn't quite make up for a pretty rough last season.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that something like Breaking
these
Bad,
lists
obviously,
felt
like
episodic. But even in that case, it doesn't help your Scrubs. Peaky Blinders
I'm
argument.
really confused
Yeah, that is weird.
by that, particularly Peaky Blinders. I can understand especially if you didn't like the last season of Scrubs, which a lot of people weren't huge fans of. I liked it, but I can see how you wouldn't love that finale. I love the Scrubs finale, but Peaky Blinders is maybe. Callie and I were actually just talking about this the other day because we really don't know many people that have watched Peaky and like all the way through. And there's another podcast that I listened to with a running joke that Peaky Blinders doesn't exist and that it's just a bunch of people who have agreed to all say they watched the show.
It also does sound like something you just make up in terms of a name for a show.
But Peaky Blinders might be Peaky Blinders in Succession, Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul might be the 4 most consistently good long-form television shows I've ever watched.
That's awesome.
Just like
Fleabag showed up a lot too on best finales.
Fleabag's amazing.
Yeah. Keeping it short.
Good call.
And none of the shows you mentioned really were very long. I think Breaking Bad had 7 seasons, 6 or 7 seasons?
5 technically, but it's more like 5.5.
They kind of cut some stuff up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's cut to
Cranston
ads.
could get another 2 Emmys out of it.
Couple ads. Let's do some ads. On our finale show, again, it's not the finale. This isn't the last Mini Monday. But in the finale of this show, right? So it's like we get to show up on some of these lists of like was that the best episode of all time?
Let's make it the worst.
Not
Let's
really.
make it the
Just because
worst
it ended
episode.
so well doesn't necessarily mean that it was a good episode. I do in making these lists and being a part of several of these finales. Consistently, these shows, and obviously they would show up on a list like this if they were popular shows, but they definitely were in the seasons of gathering around with your crew that had been watching with you for the last several seasons or binged with you, right? There's these things that we're doing together, and then we all get to sit down and have an opinion. And kind of the interesting phenomenon that is sitting with people that you respect and taking in the same thing and talking about it after, especially with shows that are long form, right? It's this friendship, this relationship that you've developed. I thought it'd be fun to end by playing Synops Us, doing something as one being, all together. If you haven't heard of Synops Us, this is a show in which I take an IMDb synopsis and measure it against what Doge and Jordan can come up with together as they back and forth passing off words to each other. What would you call that? I never say that the right way. It's not telephone.
Like popcorn?
Ping pong.
Ping pong popcorn. Ping corn.
Ping corn.
Pop pong. Pop pong sounds better. They pop pong back and forth to try and create a synopsis that is very similar to the actual synopsis on IMDb. We're just going to do a couple today because we had a lot to talk about before the ads. But the first Synops Us for us today will be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
The first one.
The first one, 2018's. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. How many names do you think are in this synopsis here? That's how we usually kick it off.
2.
1.
2 is correct.
All right.
Miles Morales and Spider-Man. When
Miles
Morales
is
bitten
by
a
radioactive
spider,
he
must
dig
deep
and
deeper
to I thought you were about to say the word. I thought you were about to say the word I wanted you to say. I felt like I heard it.
decide.
No, but that's close enough.
Was it dig? Do you want me to talk about digging some
I
more?
wanted you to say discover.
Decide. You must dig deep and deeper to decide
What
Kind
of
Spider-Man
he
will
become.
Period. When Miles Morales is bitten by a radioactive spider, he must dig deep and deeper to decide what kind of Spider-Man he will become. The actual synopsis. Teen Miles Morales becomes the Spider-Man of his universe and must join with 5 spider-powered individuals from other dimensions to stop a threat for all realities. You guys touch more on the origin stuff. They kind of got it.
We'd go on the worst finale list.
A lot
I think,
of them.
after that
Sure.
one.
Final movie to synopsis
Sounds like
us
we're in
today.
good company, though, honestly.
8-Legged Freaks. David Arquette, 2002 action-adventure comedy.
0.
Yeah,
Scarlett
0.
Johansson.
I'll say 1.
Zilch.
Jordan, you go first, which is good because I know absolutely nothing about this movie.
Don't worry, I'll guide you there. When
Cool. What a friend.
You
mess
with
the
freaks
you
get
the
8
legs
exclamation point.
Very good. 8-Legged Freaks. This should have been on the poster because what you've created is the kind of movie this is. When you mess with the freaks, you get the 8 legs. Is our synopsis here. The plot is short, very short. Venomous spiders get exposed to a noxious chemical that causes them to grow to monumental proportions. When you mess with the freaks, you get the 8 legs.
You get the
I knew it was in there.
I always say that.
Whoever said mess, Jordan. When Jordan said mess, I knew exactly where we were going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did
I
Jordan.
knew exactly where we were going. Very good. Now we're going to the end, the finale of this finale episode.
I have a suggestion for the end if you don't have one in
Suggest it,
mind. Just best season finales. Not series finales, but just season finales.
Yeah.
A little easier to come by.
To end today's episode, I'd love to have your name. And then why don't you share some best season finales? I'm Carter. And I don't recall which season of Lost it was, but there is a moment that Jack tells Kate we have to go back. Basically talking about they need to return to the island. And I remember being very excited about that. This was around the time, so Lost was the very first show I ever binged, but I had to via disc and just wait for the next one to come in from Netflix because there weren't any left at Blockbuster. And so that was my first finale. That
Gosh,
when
we used to all live in hell,
back,
didn't we? Just waiting for discs all the time.
which is very similar to the finale of Lost in general. But
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah. I think when Jack said we have to go back, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I had to wait a year.
Similar emotions. I'm Doge. And I guess Breaking Bad spoilers follow. Whenever Hank takes his fateful dump at Walt's house and
That's a big
discovers
one.
that Walt is Heisenberg, and then I had to wait a year to find out what happens next because I was watching live.
Yes.
That was really juicy time for me.
Isn't that technically it is a new season.
It's
a brand new
technically
season.
mid-season finale.
But I'm counting that, obviously. But yeah,
Sure.
man, what a crazy episode.
Unbelievable cliffhanger.
Very good. Wow.
Good pull.
I'm Jordan.
Animaniacs season 3.
Yeah, it's so good. They sing the country song. I'm going to give honorable mention to, just since you mentioned Breaking Bad, the end of Better Call Saul season 5 is maybe one of the worst, like, are you kidding me, I've ever had to wait for.
Yeah.
Just a wild, and the payoff too is excellent.
Yep.
A really great payoff. So props to you, Better Call Saul. But I do have 2 that I'm going to talk about. One is the end of season 3 of The Office that just ends with Jim bursting through the door where Pam's doing her interview and asks her if she's free for dinner, which is one of the best payoffs for like a will they, won't they I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's great.
And man, what a season finale.
Honestly, Jenna Fisher's acting in that scene is really, really good.
It is very good. Very good. But I'm gonna give props here to Sons of Anarchy season 3. The end of season 3 of Sons of Anarchy, the entire season of season 3 is wild. And in a show that I would call pretty good, season 3 is excellent all around. I mean, just like
That's fun.
such good writing, really exciting. And then it all culminates in this one moment with one of the best twists I've ever watched in television. I mean, it
Love
just shattered my beautiful little cortexes and membranes. It was...
Is that when they cut the sleeves off their denim jackets to make them into vests and they sew the spikes on the shoulders?
So they don't
Get
cut.
goosebumps.
They flex until all
Goosebumps.
the seams bust.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
And then
cool.
they chain
Gotta
smoke
go to work,
cigarettes
dude.
while they drive 100 miles per hour.